YouTube, Justin, Finest Listography, episode number 3. This is my top 10 sporting events on my bucket list. These are 10 sporting events that I want to see before I kick the bucket. My original list for this was 15, so I have some honorable mentions to throw in there. Any NASCAR race. I haven't ever been to a NASCAR race. It's something that I really wanted to do a couple of years back, but never got the opportunity to. And at some point, I would really like to go see a race, especially if it happened to be a race in the chase for the NASCAR championship. The Grey Cup Finals, the championship game in the Canadian Football League, especially if my Montreal Alouettes are playing. The Memorial Cup Championship game. Just watched the Memorial Cup Championship game in Shawinigan that just went by. Seemed like a great atmosphere. It's what you would expect from Canadian junior hockey, and at some point I want to be a part of that. Any draw in Wimbledon, one of the 4 major tennis championships. I'm a big fan of tennis, even though I'd never be able to play it. I really like watching tennis on TV, and I think I would really enjoy being there and watching it live. The final round of the Masters. I'm a big golf fan. I try to play, even though I duff pretty hard. But I really like golf, and the Masters is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, and most prestigious tournaments in all of golf. Here we go. The actual top 10 sporting events on my bucket list. Starting with number 10, a Major League Baseball game, but moreover than that, a baseball game in the World Series Championship Series. I'm one of the only people that I know that can watch a baseball game first pitch to last pitch and not get bored. I really like watching baseball on television, actually. I enjoy the strategy about it, and I think that would really translate into watching it live. Number 9. The NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament Championship game. I'm not a big basketball fan, but for some reason I really love the NCAA tournament. I don't really have allegiances to particular teams. I just like watching good basketball games, and I think I would really, really love being at the championship game of the NCAA tournament. So that is number 9. Number 8, a major UFC pay-per-view, and I know a lot of people, knowing the kind of content that I put on my channel, might be a little surprised that a major UFC pay-per-view would only be number 8 on a top 10 list, but I've watched enough fights live, and I've watched enough sparring and everything to kind of know what I'm getting into. So I don't think it would be too much of a culture shock, and that's why it doesn't get up higher on the list. But I would love to go see a live UFC pay-per-view, ideally with a title fight, like make it like a major event, an important event. I would absolutely love to see a UFC event live. Number 7, a Ring of Honor marquee event. Ring of Honor has a pro wrestling promotion, if you didn't know. A Ring of Honor marquee event. They have, I believe, 6 marquee events that they do annually. I would love to go to any of them. Being in the crowd, just seeing a Ring of Honor crowd, they're such a knowledgeable wrestling crowd. They really appreciate and love good wrestling. That's the kind of wrestling fan that I am, so I think I would be very at home at a Ring of Honor event. Number 6, the Dream/K1/IGF New Year's Eve Mixed Martial Arts event. It's usually referred to as Dynamite. Mixed martial arts fights, you have kickboxing matches, you have puroresu matches, which is Japanese professional wrestling. It's a huge combat sports and sports entertainment event, and I would absolutely love one year before Dream kicks the bucket, if it's ever going to. I would absolutely love to be in the crowd for these events and see all of these great matchups in combat sports and sports entertainment. Number 5 is the WWE Royal Rumble. I emphasize the Royal Rumble because to me, it's one of my favorite and one of the most exciting and unpredictable WWE events of the year. The main event, you have 30 guys in there. It could go 30 different ways. You never really know how WWE is going to go with it. It's one of the most exciting events of the year, and it's one that I absolutely love to watch, and I know I would just joygasm if I was in the crowd. Number 4, an NHL game, but of course a Stanley Cup Finals game. It doesn't have to be a clinching game, just a game somewhere in that Stanley Cup Finals series. Especially if my Montreal Canadiens were there, that would probably push this higher up on the list, but I don't expect that to happen for a few years. So if I can get to a Cup Finals game, no matter who is in it, that's all good by me. Obviously, it's one of the greatest hockey atmospheres that you could possibly have. As a sports fan, as someone that loves hockey so much, it would be just one of the ultimate achievements is actually getting into a Stanley Cup Finals game. That would only be superseded by number 3, the Olympic men's hockey gold medal game. You have these all-star teams of NHL caliber players, and a lot of the players in the NHL, being there trying to win the gold medal. To say that our nation is the greatest at the greatest sport in the world would be just the holy grail for hockey fans. Number 2, the Super Bowl. Obviously the biggest and greatest football game of the year. The Super Bowl is a happening all of its own, and it's a week-long event. You go down there the Monday before the game, and there's Super Bowl stuff going on all over the host city, and it would be something that, if you got the money for it, would be an amazing thing to be there to witness live. Of course, you got the halftime show and what always ends up being a very entertaining and great football game. And my number 1 in my top 10 sporting events on my bucket list, who didn't see this one coming? WrestleMania. For my money, even the Super Bowl doesn't beat WrestleMania. You build all year towards WrestleMania. 365 days a year is building towards WrestleMania. It's culturally significant. It's significant just to the world of professional wrestling. WrestleMania is WrestleMania. It's one of the greatest events on earth. If I can't get to any of those other things, I would die a happy man if I ended up going to a WrestleMania. So that's it. Finest Listography, Episode 3, YouTube, Justin, Top 10 Sporting Events on my bucket list. Did you enter the contest? Don't forget to enter the contest. Share my 15,000 views video. Send me a screen cap of where you shared it. Email it to me. Put the email address in the description and on the video. You can win this sheet that I'm showing you now. Got all my crap on it. Don't forget, enter the contest.